Being recorded.
Yeah, hello to another session of the XStepCafe. And we'll just jump in with Uwe. Hand over to Uwe. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to share my screen. And now you should be able to see the first page of a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, can you just give me short feedback if it's working?
Yeah, we should.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, what I want to talk about today is you're all quite very familiar with process instruction maintenance using execution steps in combination with browser-based PI sheets or electronic work instructions. And there is also a possibility to maintain process instructions for those external control recipe destinations that are sent down to the shop floor to the PLC or MES system using control recipe destinations of type 2. Unfortunately, the ways to maintain those process instruction data or those process instructions is not that comfortable compared with those possibilities and features that we do have for the elements that are then part of the browser-based PI sheets and electronic work instructions. And I would like to share you some ideas and some insights on this topic. Okay. The main challenge that we are facing is if we want to create content of of external control recipes using execution steps, we face that the maintenance of the process instruction data is quite limited. If you have tried this one, you may have come across the detail screen of the process instruction node in the XStep tree, and you see there's some drop-down boxes for the process instruction type and also an input field for the instruction category. With an F4 help, that's not really an F4 help. So if you press F4, you won't get any of those instructions you have already maintained in your system for the given plant. That's not nice. Even if you would enter an existing instruction category that exists that was maintained in customizing, you won't get a transfer of the corresponding values that are defined in the characteristic values that are defined in the customizing to the process instruction node of the XStep process instruction. And of course, if there are characteristics that have to be automatically evaluated, this would also not happen. The solution that I would like to present to you is based on a body. We'll later elaborate on this already. We have a SAP node that ships this body, and we have a sample implementation in the fallback class that contains most of the coding that you would need to fill XStep-based process instructions using an instruction category and the corresponding characteristics from customizing. Why we ship, and of course, one thing also to mention, implementing this node will not change the system behavior. So you have to do a little step more to get those changes active, and also to get some of the features that we will explain in the following slides. The idea is quite simple. You can create a custom implementation of this body. Most of the coding that you require is defined in this fallback class that is mentioned here, so you can just reuse it. And if you implement the body, you will have the following features available. You can now select the existing process instruction categories via this F4 help. So you see those two screenshots. If you have activated the body implementation and press the F4 help on this instruction category field, you will get the process instructions that belong to the given process instruction type. Here, in our example, we chose process instruction type 1, which is a process parameter, And if you press the F4 help, you see, okay, we'll get all of those process instruction categories that are maintained in this plant, in a given plant, and also belonging to the chosen process instruction type that we selected in this drop-down box here that is named process parameter. If you want to choose a process instruction type, you will get all the process instruction categories that are maintained in the system, also those that you maintain in the set in a custom namespace, which is quite fine. So you can select one of it. What then happens is the system wants to press the enter key. So I chose the instruction category PHRR_1, AR1, which is a parameter for the phase. It's one of our process instruction categories that we ship in the SAP standard. And all the characters that are assigned here, and this is the view of the process instruction as you get it if you call the corresponding customizing transaction O12C. And then these characteristics are copied into the corresponding XStep node that belongs to that where you chose the XStep node, the process instruction node in the XStep tree. One important point where we had also to come to a solution is you see here in the customizing, the characteristic PPPI phase is ticked as being automatically evaluated. For the old characteristic-based process instruction, the automatic valuation is defined in the in the maintenance of the characteristic, and mostly you use a function module that gets the value of the phase during the evaluation period, and then assigns the current value to this characteristic. As we talk about XSteps, we don't have, let's say we have a different way to come to automatic valuation. This means we use valuation symbols. And this would not be sufficient just to add a valuation symbol. In our case, if we have a process instruction of a category that has a characteristic with an automatic, that has to be automatically evaluated, we then define or automatically create an XStep parameter at the parent XStep of this process instruction node. And if we have or we detect that there's a valuation symbol that fits to this parameter or to this characteristic, then we also automatically assign it. I will show you how this works later in the system demo. But for the time being, you can just check it here. This is the result. If we took over this instruction category, in the XStep part we get those characteristics transferred to the process instruction node in the XStep tree, and we also get the automatic creation of this parameter. Here also, this is, let's say, also part of the SAMPS implementation, and we also get, in this case, the automatic assignment of a valuation symbol or phase valuation symbol, which is also part of the SAP standard, and also this parameter gets the information that it's automatically evaluated. So this is quite fine. The last thing that happens here also automatically is if you want to evaluate this characteristic with let's say the value of the phase, then we have to at least add the information from which XStep parameter the value will be taken. And this is fairly simple. We just add the name of the parameter that contains the information which phase currently is processed to the value of this PBPI phase characteristic. Also the name, let's say this ampersand that we use, how this part is quite equal to the way how you will define variation symbol replacement in long text. So nothing really completely strange. I will just go on and show you this, how it works in the demo. So there's one thing that we encountered in the last weeks, and this could also be that we get this within our demo. We had a problem with the maintenance of XStep data, and this might also occur within the demo. And what you see or what you get is that we open the XStep editor, go to the detail screens, want to change some things, and then want to close the detail screen or navigate away from it. And it seems that the XStep editor does not react on the user input. So it stays as it is. You can't close the screens. You can just close the sub-GUI session, which is quite not nice. It took a while until we found the error cause, and today it seems that the side effect that we observe is a side effect of a sub-basis node, which was shipped, I think, in August. And we contacted the folks that prepared the node, and they also did an analysis and provided a correction, which is currently under testing. So in our current development systems, we have the correction. So we have this SFP basis node implemented, and could be that we get a frozen screen. In this case, I will then just close our screen with the help of our debugger, which is surely not the standard. But this is also something, when this correction is ready and tested, then we'll also inform you, because it can be very cumbersome to maintain XSteps if the side effect occurs. Okay, so thank you is quite too far. I will then just stop presenting and switch to the XStep repository. So, okay, I hope you can see the view on an XStep repository. Just let me know if you see the standard XStep repository of plant 001.
Yes, Uwe.
Okay, that's fine. So just want to demo what the changes are. I just created a standard XStep, which is not that complex. I created a version, assigned a control recipe destination of type 2. This means all the stuff that we are defining here in the process instruction is then collected in a control recipe or control instruction and then sent to external system. So just try to change it, and if I now double click on it, you see, okay, I did not choose anything here. I just kept it empty, and also switching to the characteristic, nothing is in here. Okay, and now I just want to have this process instruction containing information about process parameters. So I chose this entry, and now I try to start the for help, and in our system or our plant, we get the information that we have those instruction categories maintained. So, and what I would like just to choose is I would like to have this instruction category, which is an example for process parameters of the order. So I just double click in here, press enter, and what now happened is if you switch to the characteristic view, you see, okay, we have here characteristics like the material, the order quantity, a unit of measure, the resource network, and the plant of the resource. So this or these characteristics come from the customizing settings, relative of, at least from the assigned characteristics in transaction O12C, and then are automatically transferred to this process instruction node. Okay, we'll just close it, and if we double click on here, we also see that we have a couple of extra parameters that are defined. So I just chose a quite more complex one example, but you might remember that we have had an automatic valuation of the material number. This is the characteristic, the PPI material, and the valuation, which is the switch in here, is assigned a symbol material that is also automatically valuated. So I did not do any manual interaction here with the except that I chose the instruction category, and the rest really went automatically. Then there is something also I will talk about later on, this reservation stuff. One thing that we also saw that we have parameter for the order quantity that has to be automatically evaluated, and also the plant of the resource, and also the resource network. And for these purposes, we also created these parameters and assigned the valuation symbols. With respect to the material number, it's with anything that if you do, say, also valuation symbol assignment, and then it might be necessary that you also create parameters and evaluate parameters that contain the reservation and the reservation item. So this also depends on, let's say, the implementation of the valuation for the material number, and also for the if you want to evaluate the material number of the main material or material number of the components. And therefore these two these two parameters have also to be created to be able to properly maintain or properly evaluate the PPI material part here. So this is also done using the logic that the body methods contain, and also if you got it here, we have an automatic, so we have valuation symbols for those parameters in the standard, and therefore we also are able to assign it automatically. So in brief, that's it. If you now would save it, just do it. Then we get our process instruction properly maintained, and now you can just execute the check functionality, and it really works fine. Okay, so I will pick another one. I'll change it. And now let's say, okay, I want to have a process message subscription, which I think is type 3. And you can also see, if I press the F4 help, we got 10 entries that I maintain for these things. And I think we can just, let's try confirmation of a material consumption. Also press enter. And here we have also the transfer of the characteristics and the evaluation from the customizing. What you see here is there's a message category, PI cons, which might be quite familiar to you, and also an automatically evaluated characteristic, the process order, for which we created this this parameter that is evaluated, and then also a couple of requested values like operation phase, material, event, date, time, that are defined in the customizing, that are then transferred into this process instruction node. And if we just go to the parameter TypeScript of the parent execution step, then we also find the parameter and also its valuation. Proper valuation using this valuation symbol, the order type. There's something where we did, let's say, kind of a check. if I would now try to change the process instruction type, then those things will not fit. And in these cases, you'll get an error message. Sorry for the German text here. This is a queue system and it's not translated, but it will be translated later on. And so it raises an exception saying, okay, I do have a wrong type. So I chose type 3 before. Now I switch to type 1 for this process instruction node, process instruction category acons _1. The behavior that then follows is quite not that nice. It's really then cleans up the description and all the settings. But this is currently standard behavior. What's not cleaned up is here the characteristics. But in this case, I would also not save the changes. So this is, let's say, something that we can provide and that you can use. And I want to go a little bit more into the technical stuff, but I will try to keep it on a, let's say, quite high level. So I want to just to show you the enhancements that we did. So, okay, I did an enhancement, an own enhancement of this instruction maintenance body. So, could take a time to sit down and relax. And what I just did is I inherited the fallback class to an own custom class. So inheritance means that I have only to override those methods that I have to change. So in our case, we'll just go to the implementing class. We have one method that is important that steers or controls if, let's say, this body is processed. And it's quite simple. So I navigate in here. In general, this body method is processed in the fallback class and checks if the instruction maintenance, so this is extended instruction maintenance using the body, is allowed or not. In standard, it is not allowed. So the returning value is to false. This means you won't get the F4 help after implementing the coding elements of the node until you decide to provide your custom implementation and override this method by setting it to above true. So quite fairly simple. I would just a little bit elaborate on the idea that's behind it. So let's just check. Here we have the body method that is, let's say, the main core. If we want to create this accept data from the instruction category, will not go through every part of the coding, but you see this method is quite not that huge. So we have also provided methods where you can get the characteristics and the parameters from the instruction category. And also here is the logic that allows you to replace the parameter that you would create for a valuation symbol if the parent XStep already has a parameter that is assigned to the same valuation symbol. Remember, a valuation symbol can only be assigned once to an XStep parameter in an XStep node. So if you try to assign the same valuation symbol material to two different parameters of the same XStep, you'll get an error. So there's only one. And what we did here is we in this fallback implementation, we just provided a little kind of logic. So we check if there is a parameter that has this valuation symbol assigned to, and if it really exists, then we just replace we don't create a second parameter that holds the same valuation symbol, but we keep the old one and just replace the valuation of the corresponding characteristic. we replace the name of the new parameter that we don't create against the name of the old parameter that has the same valuation symbol. So this is quite easy and really works fine. And you are able also, so you won't get into, let's say, that much of big trouble if you have already maintained parameters that are assigned to the same valuation symbol. There's something that I also have to point to. So there was one idea, the initial idea when we talked about the solution is, what happens if we decide not to, so we chose an instruction category, we create the automatic valuation parameters and the characteristics, then we decide just to skip it or to, let's say, to remove the process instruction node or choose a different process instruction category. Do you have any change, any chance to delete the XStep parameters that we created when we chose the first process instruction category? And the simple answer is no. So we don't get any information at this point in time to which XStep parameter has been created. And could also be that if we have already an existing XStep parameter that has this valuation symbol that should be part of a characteristic of the process instruction, if we would delete this parameter, then we would get into inconsistencies because this parameter may be used in other process instruction nodes that are child nodes of the XStep. So, okay, this is just tiny coding, so we just edit. So if you want to clean up the corresponding XStep node, then you have to delete the parameters manually. But this also works quite fine. And for those of you who have also tried to create XStep parameters without using the XStep editor maintenance, so we also had this rework scenarios where we just created XStep tree nodes a couple of sessions before, and then here is the coding how you can create it, what you have also to provide for. So the complete the coding elements of the so-called XStep factory instance is able to create this parameter and to append it as a child to the parent execution step. And also the next part of this logic is, once we created the parameter, then we set the content. So this means we just set all the characteristics that we got, and this is so just 100 lines of coding, which is quite nice. And the good thing is here, this is a body implementation. You can just change it or enhance it on your own. I just want to talk about, so just check this one here. We have the challenge if we want to identify characteristics that have to be automatically evaluated. How are we able to distinguish between the PPPI phase parts that requires an own implementation and own assignment of the valuation symbols? And therefore we define this method, this central method. This is also inherited to your sample class, and we just structured it in a way that we have so additional methods that bundle the valuation of characteristics. And once we have an assignment, or once we are able to create this parameter, then we just leave this main method, and just to briefly show you how this implementation looks like. So in our case, we just come in with a characteristic name. So if the characteristic name is PPPI process order, then we just take the valuation symbol that exists in the standard, take it here, and also define a name. Here it's just a local parameter that is automatically evaluated. If you are familiar with our XStep library, you might know this naming convention. and we assign it here, and then it's returned. And as far as we get the information that here, when we have named this parameter, then we will return to the calling method. And if the characteristic is not PPPI process order, then we just will go down to the other methods that contain variations or parameters that are part of this operation category. And there are also some parts of the coding. Just scroll down a little bit. Oh, I removed it. Okay. Some characteristics where we don't have also proper valuation symbol assigned to, and in this case you can feel free to create your own valuation symbol and evaluate the information in the way we do here. Okay, so we see quite a couple of information what's in here, and also just let's scroll down with regards to the unit of measure. Here it's also important to check the instruction category. What we did here is we just list most of the process instruction categories that we ship in SAP standard. So if you have your own instruction category that uses PPPI unit of measure, then you might have to copy this method and enhance it. And what we also do have, we have here in our case we have some process instruction categories only. I think there's only one where we have an automatic valuation of co-product, meaning this PPPI material co-product should be assigned to a valuation symbol. In our case, we don't have a proper valuation symbol in standard available. And if this is the case, then we just create a local parameter. And because we can't assign any valuation symbol, we just keep the information which valuation symbol is assigned to open. This means, in this case, the information does not get lost, that there is a parameter that has to be evaluated, and you can then assign your own valuation symbol that covers the code product information to this local parameter. So, what I would like, so these are, let's say, the main building blocks. And perhaps I would just have a last glimpse into this class. Here is logic bundles, how we get the characteristics and parameters from the given instruction category. This is a method that's a little bit larger, and we also have say the database selection from the customizing tables. If something really went wrong, if customizing is inconsistent, we also raise error messages or exceptions. And in this method here, we also try to identify those characteristics that are automatically evaluated. This could be they are either assigned to a valuation function or to a table. And also something that we have to consider is if we have a simple data request or repeated data request, this has an impact on the parameters that we generate. For the repeated data request, we then will generate table parameters or parameters of table types. This is also covered by this method here. And next thing that we do is that we get the characteristics, also using elements encoding of the SAP standard. And also if we get the information that this characteristic is evaluated, this is the case when we get this information from the customizing back, then we just take this value instead of assigning a valuation symbol or similar things like that. Okay, and also a little bit of logic. We have this automatic so automatic evaluated content. Then we do the parameter creation that you saw before, and also the next parts are then related to the assignment of this parameter. Here in our case, we just created local parameters to the corresponding XStep parent object. And what you also do is that we then do the valuation of the corresponding characteristic by using the parameter name that we generated and and the placeholders, these ampersands here. So, and I just told you that it could be that we have to create additional parameters for reservation item. So if we get this information that we have to create it at this point in time, then just do everything that is necessary to create this XStep parameters. Just scroll down a little bit. So in both cases, reservation item are then evaluated, and so that's it. This is quite a little bit technical stuff, but it works fine, and also the possibility that you can extend the fallback class content in an easy way, or in a way that you are familiar to if you work with body implementations, allows you also to handle custom instruction categories of set type, and also custom characteristics. So I think this is quite a good starting point, and I hope that it will help you to spend less effort when you try to maintain those external control recipes or control instructions. Okay, then I would just go back and say thank you.
Yeah, Uwe, thanks a lot for the presentation. Quite interesting. So I hand over to the participants. Any questions? Feedback? Is there anybody who's using external control recipe destinations in the audience?
Yes, we are using, but we don't see the need of doing this.
Okay. But you're using it with XSteps?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we define manually in the XStep, the XStep tree, the parameter, and how we pass it.
Okay. But would you have liked it once you started with XSteps and external control recipes, or was that sort of very clear what to do?
Yeah. Well, we never use this functionality of instruction category, so we don't even know how to do it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. If this is not the case, we can finish up early. Last chance.
Hi, Arnie. I have a question, but it's a little bit off topic, I think.
Okay.
Always. We had this discussion internally about what will be with process instructions and XSteps when there is when we change to S/4HANA, and so we ask some people at SAP, but we don't get a real answer. So I don't know if I can address it to you and
I totally understand your wish and request. The thing is, this is not an official platform here. Yeah, so we definitely cannot give you any roadmap information here. I mean, Uwe, I'm not sure what you can say, but I think it's all in the makings if there's any plans. So.
Okay.
So yeah, there are some discussions about this topic, sure, and the question back would be: are we talking about on-premise or are we talking about for on cloud?
On-premise.
Okay, on-premise. There are some official statements concerning also cloud and on-premise. I don't know if you have had a look at the simplification list that is out there for the new shipment of S/4HANA on-premise. In general, the coding of process instruction X-steps and browser-based PI sheets and electronic work instructions is part of S/4 on-premise. So this is the fact. But there are things ongoing. So it already depends on other factors if it can be used for the cloud scenarios. There's currently no release of, as far as I know, of process instruction parts. And PBPI stuff using for S4 because there are some also technical challenges with regards to digital signatures in the cloud, which is quite different compared with the digital signatures in an on-premise system. But there's, as I said, there are some discussions around here. As far as I know, if you do a migration from a classical ERP system to S/4HANA, then a couple of things are supported, and could be that a couple of things might be replaced in near or far future against other successive functionality. But I don't know the official statement. The only thing that it's, let's say, out in the market or that it's published for customers is the simplification list. But of course we are also in heavy discussions how future will look like, because S4 brings a lot of changes, but it brings also a lot of possibilities to perhaps to provide better or quite improved applications for the future challenges.
Yes.
And yeah.
Will there be any possibility to influence these discussions or to push them further?
Hope so.
Can we support or can we help in any way?
Yes, sure. I think if also the colleagues that care for the product get also feedback from the market that say at least functionality like PBPI process management is also required by customer in future, then this would at least increase the chance that something might be done in this way.
I think Pascal, didn't you have an initiative with the VCI as well to team up with other of our customers to give it more?
I'm trying it for 2 years or 1.5 years, but the initiative still isn't started. Yeah, I'm waiting to response from your colleagues. So
because you know our product management is of course more eager to or more willing to listen to requests if there are a lot of customers asking for the same thing. So that's always the case, and that's I mean it's still no guarantee, but it's because even if you would come with a lot of pharmaceutical chemical customers, and in the end there are even more, like for example automotive or other customers requesting totally different things in manufacturing, which are then esteemed more important in a way, then there could be different decisions. But as I said, the more weight you can gather, the better. So yeah.
But as long as the initiative isn't started, there's no way to get our voices in our
I think what you're just doing is, and you're addressing it to Uwe. Uwe can channel this a little bit, I think, but he has no say really. He can relay certain things. I think Uwe. Please correct me if I'm saying something.
Correct. This is fine.
Then yes, of course, that will probably be heard. Yeah. So it's of course the right thing also here to do.
Okay, thanks. So Uwe, I will pass you an email I sent to Hans Heiner Wüst, and on which I'm waiting for a response. So maybe you can push it further and to the instead.
Yeah. Sure, I'll try to. So if we have discussions that are, let's say, in the area of how will process management look like, how will PR sheets look like, or then in general I'm also involved, but currently there's nothing that I can communicate officially. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's fine with. Okay. I'm fine with the answer. Thanks.
Yeah. We are also interested to know the answers.
I'm pretty sure that everybody is very interested to get the answers.
Okay, so one last quick question, if there is one. If not, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. So
yeah, Arne, is there any document where we can look for custom function model, how to use the custom function model in XSteps?
Custom function model, what do you mean exactly by that?
Yeah, we have some custom function models, like we have import parameters and export parameters. How to bring it in the XStep? I'm not sure how to set up the XStep.
That you mean valuation of parameters with function modules?
Yeah.
Okay, I think have you looked up in sessions and documents in the XStepCafe? We covered that a long time ago.
Yeah, and also
I looked into that, but I couldn't find it.
Okay.
We have the XStep library that has also some samples. How function modules that are in the standard are say embedded in standard XSteps, and also how set function modules are embedded. I think that we also added a link because it's not that easy to find those documents in the SAP community network. So, but we can provide it to you.
If you go to the XStepCafe and then there is this tag cloud on the right side, there is a tag called valuation symbols. That is the one you want to click. And there you see 3 XStepCafe sessions and also a PDF document which you can download. And probably you should look at session 3 because that's very early session which is called Body for Symbols and Generation Scopes. So that's really the one you should look with before asking for the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and also the other blog post right after that on 9th of July 2008, which has this PDF, is directly related to that, so that should help you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, time's up.
And one more question, last question, Arne. How to retrieve the latest version of the document from the DMS? The function model which is retrieving the old one.
Yes, I really remember that. I think the standard function module there, you have to provide the version. I think what I did then that time as consultant, I just created a new function module which used that existing function module. So I've written a wrapper, and then I made some selects or some checkings. Okay, is there which is the latest active version or something like that, and then I just used the standard function with that version. So you would have to do it on your own there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for your participation. Oh, my English is going bad. So since this is the last XStepCafe for this year, I wish you a good starting of the new year. If you have New Year in your culture on the 31st of December, then and happy holidays, and till next year. Bye.
Yeah, same to you, Arne. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.